Hey y'all, it's Heather. Link is my homeboy, and I am back for Flosstube number 4. It's been about 3 weeks since I last recorded. I have actually recorded this video a couple times between then and now, but either they got interrupted, or I didn't like them, or I didn't get them completed, whatever. So hopefully, third time's the charm. So we are in the middle of arbitrary August, so this video might get a little bit long, and it's going to be a little different. It's not going to follow the usual Flosstube format, because I want to try and go in order of the days and tell you what I've worked on. So get life updates out of the way first, and then we'll get into the stitching. So the only real life update I have is that I am going to StitchCon 2019, and I am so excited. It's going to be my first retreat, probably my only retreat for the foreseeable future. But I got an invoice the first day that they were sending them out, got it paid the next week when my husband got paid, and already have a roommate. I am rooming with Heather, the Imperfectly Perfect Stitcher. So we're going to be the Heather room. So in Sue craziness. We've already booked our room. We both have paid our invoice. So very excited that I get to go and meet all of you that have already announced that you're going. Super, super excited. So yeah, that's really the only life update I have. No more trees cutting down, no ER visits. So the usual stay-at-home mom life, just dealing with the kids. So I guess we'll get into the stitching. I'll go ahead and do haul first, and then I'll go through all the arbitrary August stuff, because there's a lot of it. So since my last video, I have received a couple of stitchy kindnesses, and of course have a couple of purchases of my own. The first one I got here was from Angie, Hibernation Stitcher. She had contacted me a couple weeks ago and said, hey, I want to send you something. Give me your address. So she did indeed send me something. First, this lovely card with a lovely note inside. Love that butterfly. And then she, I don't know how long ago it was, a month or so ago, on her Instagram, had posted that she had done some dyeing. And she apparently didn't see anything she was going to stitch on this one, so she sent it to me. It's a piece of, I think she said it's 28 count Monaco. So, and it's got like pinks and oranges in it. And I've got a couple of ideas of things that I could use this for. I just have to measure and figure out if I'm actually going to be able to use it for those. So thank you, Angie. Really appreciate that. I also received my cross stitch ATC for July, which was the theme A is 4. And I was the recipient of Sam at Mind My Needle. So she did A is for alphabet, and she backstitched an alphabet in a variegated floss there. And she actually sent me the leftover floss. It's Unicorn Tail the Grasshopper. So she sent me the leftover floss. I'll have to find something to use that for. And she sent me this lovely card. And then before, I don't know if it was before she got me as the person she was sending her ATC to or not, but she had contacted me and said, hey, I have some Aida I'm not going to use, like 16 count Aida I'm not going to use. Do you want it? So I was like, sure, why not? So she sent me, there's some pink Zweigert, some gray, which I believe she said is Fabrics by LJ. It's got a little bit of modeling. It's very subtle. Then a couple of Color Cascade fabrics. So this one is called Fairy Boots, I believe. That's a pretty true representation of the color there. It's got all this pink all this like deep pink over here, which is kind of a shame because it's like, do I really want to stitch something that close to the edge or not? I have a couple ideas for things for this, but again, we'll just have to measure and figure it out. And another, and this one is, I've seen this one, I think Laura X stitched something on it. I can't remember what she stitched on it, but this is the July 2017 fabric of the month, and it's called Sweet Child of Mine. And it's got some pretty good modeling in it. And I have an idea of what I want to stitch on this. Again, got to measure, figure it out. I'm not trying to do any new starts right now. So, thank you, Sam. I really appreciate that. They will get used eventually. Now, purchases. I went and traded in some books and movies at Half Price Books a couple weeks ago. And I went ahead and perused the stationery section because that's what I do. And I found this lovely little notebook for $2. And what I was thinking, because it's supposed to be like a journal type thing, what I was thinking, the way that it's set up, so it's got a page here where it says subject, date, and then it's got, lines, and then on the other one it's got grid. I was thinking that once I actually start finishing some stuff, like actually FFOing it, not finishing, I have tons of finishes. I was thinking that I would make any notes here, like the title and the date that I, did the project, and then any kind of conversions or whatever I did down here, and then take a picture of it and put it in there. So this could be like my FFO journal. And it's also got a thing at the front here to keep track of, I was going to use it to keep track of Sal start dates, since I seem to be joining all of them. But I didn't think that was bad for $2. And then I was also perusing Mo's Sales Facebook group, which is always dangerous. She had a bunch of stuff that she was really trying to get rid of. And so I snagged a few things. One of the things she had was a shady bag, which is where she has 8 skeins of floss, and it goes from one color all the way down to white in different shades. I think this was taupe. And yes, I'm using a plastic lid to show this, but I think she was selling, normally she sells these for $8 or something, and she knocked it down to $5, so I went ahead and snagged it. I was like, I've got a few projects I could throw some of those colors in, so. And then she also had bags of buttons on sale. I think normally she does $2.50 for a bag of 30 buttons in various sizes and shades of a color. And she was selling them for $1 to get rid of them, so I got me some pink ones. And I like this button there, that little squoval looking one. It's pretty cool. Orange, which came with a square one. Yellow and blue. So there's about 30 buttons in each bag, and I figured I could add that to some of my finishes and kind of amp them up a little bit. And last, I got my Victorian Motto Sampler Shop limited edition flosses of the month. So there they are all together. And then individually we've got Heirloom Rosebud, which is close to $3.09. Covered Wagon, which does not have a DMC conversion. It's got some really good variegation in there. Quaker Purple, which also does not have a DMC conversion. Another one with some great variegation. Kansas Sky, which also does not have a DMC conversion. This one kind of looks like blue jeans. It looks like old worn out blue jeans. Lemon Lime, DMC conversion $38.19. And Cherry Red, DMC conversion $3.47. So that was the second month that I had done the Victorian Motto Sampler Shop flosses. And while I do think it's a good value, because these are 20-yard skeins, and in the US I pay $15 shipped for 6 skeins at 20 yards each. However, I will say that between the 2 months, between July and August, I did end up with a lot of the same colors. So like both months there was a red, a purple, a blue, and a green, and a brown. And then like last month I think there was like an orange, and then this month there's a pink. And while they are different shades, I'm looking for a little bit of variation. So I'm gonna give it a couple more months and see how I like it. I was only gonna go to the end of the year anyway because I wanna try out different floss clubs. Like I tried Color and Cotton for the first half of the year, and then now I'm doing Victoria Modern Sampler Shop for the second half. And I don't know who I want to go with after that. If you have some suggestions, put them in the comments below. That way I know who to check out and who to look into. And a reminder, I'm in the States, so if they don't ship to the States, then obviously don't suggest them. Okay, so this is the part where everything kind of gets messed up. I'm not going to do the usual FFOs, FOs, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to go in order from my Arbitrary August picks. So if you don't know what Arbitrary August is, it is a challenge, stitch-along event that Stitchin Mommy started to where basically you do some sort of random generation each day and pick a new whip each day. The first couple of days I started out with a random number generator. I have all of my whips listed by number in a notebook here. And I was random number generating and just writing it over here. Now I'm still doing that. I'm still writing it over here to keep track of what I worked on and which day. But then I saw people using this app called Tiny Decisions. It's only for iOS. I know there's another one for Android, but I don't remember what it's called. But basically what you do is you put all your things into this app, and it's a wheel, and you tap it and it spins. So started doing that. And so each day, my personal rules for it were work on it a minimum of 30 minutes. That way, if for some reason it picks something that I'm not really feeling, then at least I worked on it a little bit. And then I can move on to something else. So, and that's pretty much what exactly happened on the first day. The first day, it picked, so August 1st, it picked my Nevermore piece, which I'll insert a picture. But it's got this, I've got it upside down, but it's got this really, really like intricate border. And it took me like 2 hours to scrape together that 30 minutes of stitching because I'm a stay-at-home mom. And while my kids will generally play on the floor without me bothering them and stuff like that, that one just, I ended up I would put like 3 stitches in and realize I counted wrong. So I said, okay, I really like this piece. I really want to get back to it, but I can't do that while I'm momming. So I went ahead and spun again. And my second one picked was the Fuzzy Fox Designs Cute Little Kiwi. And that brought me to a finish. I worked on it the rest of the day. I had like the top 2 lines done here. I had started this as part of my 18 starts in 18 days and didn't work on it again since. So August 1st, I had a finish, and he's adorable. And this was done on a piece of 14 count hand-dyed Aida I got from a friend on Instagram during one of the Get Your Stitchy Wishes Granted thing that seemed to pop up on Instagram around Christmas time. So I was sent a whole batch of hand-dyed Aidas that she had done, and I thought the browns would look really, really good on the yellow, and I was right. So then day 2, I spun again and came up this Vicky Designs Birds and Leaves. Now Vicky Designs is a designer that used to be on Etsy. She hasn't been for several years and has pretty much disappeared off of social media from what I can tell. And but I had bought a bunch of stuff when she was closing her shop down because she had a whole bunch of them on sale for like $1. So I bought a whole bunch of her patterns, and because I hadn't really started any of them, I started a bunch of them in January, and ended up with another finish. So again, I had like the top 2 lines done here, and then managed, I was feeling this one that day, so I got it done. And this is done on a piece of 14 count Arctic Blue Aida, which I believe is a Charles Craft. So got that one done. So I was kind of happy with that one. Day 3. Day 3 brought about the daily cross stitch rocket ship design. Again, this was another one that I had started back in January and then didn't touch it. And now this one I did not actually finish on the 3rd. I got most of it done. I think I had to finish the rest of this and do some of the stars. So on the 4th, I went ahead and continued with that and got, spent a couple more hours on it, got it finished, and then spun my wheel. And that's cute. I have all these I have this, I love stitching space things, and I don't have a plan for them. I guess I hope my son is interested in space and my daughter's interested in unicorns, so that way I can have places to, or vice versa. If my daughter's interested in space, my son's interested in unicorns. Maybe I'll have places to hang some of this stuff. But got that done. So on the 4th, after I finished that one, we moved on to Fuzzy Fox Designs, Sparkles the Baby Unicorn. Now, this one I've actually worked on for 2 separate days. This one is it has a lot of colors in it in such a fairly small design. So it's very intensive to work on. But I've got the body white filled in there, which I'm super proud of. If you go to my Instagram, which is also LinkIsMyHomeboy, you'll see a close-up of those white stitches. We all know white is very hard to do. Now, I do kind of cheat because on 14 count, I usually use 2 strands of floss. So that there is all 2 strands. But when I do white and sometimes black, I will usually use 3 strands to get the coverage that I want. I don't mind some of the color showing through for most things, but when it comes to whites and blacks, I really like it to be solid. So I worked on that a couple of different days, and probably the next time it comes out, it might be done, depending upon how much work I get onto it. So that actually, I worked on that the 4th, and then on the 5th, what came out here? The Michael Powell Cappella dei Fiori, which was a pattern that was sold on Casa de Sanina, an Italian cross-stitch site. And proceeds went to, or a portion of the proceeds or whatever went to earthquake relief. They had those earthquakes in 2016, 17. And it was a pattern that was designed and sold there. And I had started it back in January. And I originally started it on a piece of 14 count hand dyed magenta Aida. And then after I started the Fabric of the Month Club with Color and Cotton, I got this gorgeous piece of purple called Cosmic Candy. It's got purples and pinks in it. And I decided I was going to switch over to that. And so I did, and got a pretty good start on it here. So, and Cappella dei Fiori translates to Chapel of Flowers. So it's a church with a flower. I'll insert a picture. And there's the sun above it, and then there's a border, and that's the top part of the border there. So got some pretty good work on it. And if you don't know Michael Powell, he does these really nice looking, intricate full coverage pieces. And they're not huge by any means. It's not a Haid, but they've got blended colors too. So blended threads. So a lot of people find them harder than Haids, honestly, because the blended threads. But I really like it. It's gorgeous. The blending works really, really well. So, can't wait to get back to that one because I was really enjoying stitching on that one. It hasn't come back up on my wheel yet. Day 6 was my other day that I worked on the unicorn. Day 7 was the Fuzzy Fox Designs Prickly But Cute Stitch Along. And I actually worked on this one for 2 days. I worked on it on the 7th and again on the 13th. And I got caught up. So I was like, I was 3 cacti down. So here's the whole design. So this is the first stitch along that Fuzzy Fox Designs did. She started it sometime last year. I can't remember what month it was, but each month we get one of these cute little cacti. And they each have names, like that's Astrid and that's Albert. I can't remember all their names. But then I was behind by 3 months, and these are the 3 I did over here. I know that's Pasquale, Sophia, and Becky. So I got them done. So we've only got 2 more months of this one. So this will end in October. And I'm actually planning on getting that piece professionally framed. I haven't looked into pricing or anything like that, obviously, because it's not done. But that'll be the first piece I ever get professionally framed, probably, because I don't plan on getting anything framed between now and then. So, all right, so that was on the 7th. On the 8th, which was absolutely perfect, the Tiny Modernist Haunted Mansion stitch along got pulled. And it was perfect because the 8th was the release of the first room. Now, I did work on this a couple of different days. So I worked on this on the 8th, and I worked up the border enough because I don't have the border done. I started a little later, and then with Arbitrary August, it didn't get picked or anything, so I wasn't working on it. But it got picked on the 8th, and then it got picked again on the 17th. And I'm doing this on a piece of 16 count Picture This Plus Dusk Ada. This was I originally purchased this as the pattern, needle minder, and fabric kit for the Armada Designs class schedule stitch along, the Harry Potter one. But I've decided that I don't want to do the Harry Potter stitch along on this piece of fabric, if I ever do it anyway. So that's where I've gotten, I started like here is about the middle and worked my way over a little bit, and I got the borders going down a little bit and the borders going up. I got enough border to close in the room and got the room done. Now, you'll notice mine's probably a little different than some other people's because mine is now being called the punny conversion. So I was doing an Instagram live while working on this, and I was working on the vampire's pants, and I had gotten to a point where like only half his pants were done. I said, well, what if I just didn't finish his pants over here? Would he be a vampirate? And my lovely friends Cassie and Rita Marie just started encouraging that and started throwing ideas out there for how to make this even more vampirate. So he's got an eye patch. He's got a gold hoop earring. He's got a little hook. And the hoop and the hook are both done in metallic floss. The hoop is done in gold Kreinik. The hook is done in some silver diamond, DMC diamond. He's also got a peg leg. He's got some rum up here and down here. And then in the mirror there, and I'll have to go back a little bit for you to see it better, he's got his little ghosty parrot friend, which was charted by Cassie Martinez. So from Cassie Stitches, that's probably not the name of her channel. I'll link it below. So now I'm just waiting on the next room to release, which I believe is supposed to release tomorrow. Yeah, the 22nd. And we're going to see how we can punny that up. So yeah, I hadn't planned on making any changes to that Sal. And then it just kind of came up and we had to run with it. So there's my vampirate. And I also saw someone brought to my attention that there is someone out there that is doing a gray moon conversion, and I went and saw it, and it's gorgeous. And while I do love the yellow and orange moon, I might have to do the gray conversion because it's just so pretty. but I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, because I'm not anywhere near or close to getting up towards the moon, so I guess we'll see what happens when we get there. So now we're up to day 9 of Arbitrary August, and out came my Frosted Pumpkin Stitcheries Trick or Treat Costume Club. This was the Halloween Stitch Along in 2016, and I started on it at the time that it came out. I finished the little like scissor fob freebie or bonus pattern that came with it, but never got around to finishing this one, and I know why. I figured it out after a little bit of working on it. This is done on a 14 count fiddler's cloth Aida, which is really, I mean, you can see it's soft and see-through, and it frustrates me because my needle slips through the fabric instead of into the hole like it's supposed to. So I went ahead, I worked on it a little bit. I got most of the little wolfy guy here finished, added the clouds, and finished the rest of the border. On this page. There's 2 pages. So I've got treat and the rest of the board, you know, it'll say trick or treat in the middle, and it's got another person in a costume. And, didn't get as much work done on this one. I did get my minimum 30 minutes, but this is another one that I said, okay, I'm done working on this one. I'm putting it away. I'm drawing something else. So on that day, another Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery came out to play. And it was my Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery Cute as Pie Stitch Along, which was a stitch along that they started last year in May or June, and it ended this year in May. So I had started this when I got it and got behind or whatever, but then I picked it up again earlier this year and realized I had a major counting error. So I put it in timeout. And then brought it back out, figured out where I had messed up, and I had to pull out like most of the border on one of the sides. I don't remember. I had most of the border done on both sides, and one of the sides I had to pull out like most of the border and one of the rows down here, you know, one of these dividers here. So put it back in timeout after I frogged it, but then I specifically put it on my whip thing, even though it was sort of it was a temporary UFO. Like I said, it was in timeout, but I put it on my whip list specifically so that if it got pulled, I would be forced to work on it. And I'm glad it came up because I really enjoyed working on it again. So I'm using the 2-page version where it's got the top and the bottom. So I've got the border done, the inside and the outside border, because there's a brown and a pink. And I'm just using the DMC. I'm not using any of the weeks. So I got the border completed on the top page. Got these dividers fixed, whichever one was broken, and got 2 of the pie plates done because I had just temporarily pulled like this pink and this brown, just because I knew I was only working on the border at the moment and I wasn't going to kit up the whole thing at the moment. So did the pink, that's supposed to be like a spatula or whatever, and I actually worked on this twice. I worked on it once on the 9th and again on the 14th, and that's how far I got. So my plan is to get the border and all the different little motifs done, and then start doing like a pie a week at that point and see if I can get it done pretty quickly after that. I have a great idea for finishing that one that I'm not going to share because I want to wait until I get it finished and show you guys. Then day 10 brought out what I call the Lizzie Kate acorn piece. It was a pattern that was created by Lizzie Kate for the Acorns and Threads gathering back in January, February of this year. Michelle Bendy Stitchy was there, and she was posting her progress of it and everything. And I asked her, I was like, hey, can I buy that pattern off of you when you're done? And Michelle, being Michelle, was just like, don't be silly. You don't need to buy it. I'll just send it to you. So she did indeed send it to me along with the extra fancy floss because it was done up as a kit, I think. For the retreat or gathering. And she sent me the extra fancy floss that was left over. So I did what I could with the fancy floss and then substituted DMCs in. So mine looks a bit wonky. Like, I ran out of one of the greens up here, so I substituted in, and after I'd used part of it and stuff, and like the door there, and like I think this color is supposed to go down all the way on the house, but I stopped right there, so it had, you know, the variegation that kind of looks like a roof, and then the house, and then like my door there is obviously very different, but yeah, I love this little pumpkin. I said that pumpkin is great. The little chubby crow is great. So I'm gonna have to do like a row of pumpkins or something and put like the crow on top of one of them and like make a pillow if I ever figure out how to sew and do some finishing. So again, that was another finish for the month. That was number 3 for the month. That was finish number 3 for the month. Well, yeah, I'm counting it as I have. Oh no, that was finish number 4. I'm counting it as 5 finishes so far because Prickly But Cute, I'm caught up on. So I'm as finished as I can be on it. So it's like a pending finish, but it's finished as far as I can do it. And then on the 11th, I did not spin because I wanted to do a special piece. So if you don't know, August 11th, this year was the 4-year anniversary of Robin Williams' death. He committed suicide in 2014 after fighting a long, hard battle with depression and mental health issues, along with some actual like physical health issues that seems like the reason that he decided to end his life. And growing up, I watched tons of Robin Williams movies, one of my favorite actors, and you know, as I got older and became an adult and started watching some of his older stand-ups, you know, just how funny he is, just how quick-witted and funny, and just you know, the way he portrayed his characters and everything, just I just love him. So you know, I had thought about like I wanted to do like a tribute piece, or and I kind of wanted to get it done on that day, but got busy and couldn't complete it. But there was a pattern I found. I know there's tribute pieces out there. Like I think there's one by Fangirl Stitches, where she's got, I don't know if it's an alphabet, because she's famous for her character alphabet patterns, and I don't think it was an alphabet, but it was a Robin Williams piece with like him as all of his different characters. I didn't want to do something that big. I just wanted to do something small. And I saw this pattern by Stitchin in the Loo, and I will link it below. But it was an Aladdin pattern, and I really liked the stylization of it. So I bought the pattern, but I'm only doing the genie. And that's how far I got on it. So I just really liked the stylization of it, the way it was charted. I really liked it. So I gotta get this finished, and I do have an idea for a finish on this one, if I can make it work. So Arbitrary August was not so arbitrary. I made an actual choice on that one. So then back to spinning on day 12. Brought out another Vicky Designs pattern, and this is called Birds and Blossoms. It's a bird sitting on a branch that's got some cherry blossoms on it. Again, started it back in January, got a couple rows into the bird. Well, I only got a couple more rows done on that day because my tablet, where I was using the pattern off of, decided to die. Like it was charged 100%, and then suddenly it was dead. So only got a few rows done on that, but then it got picked again on Saturday the 18th, and I decided I wanted to finish the bird, but then also because Bendy Stitchy has decided that Saturday is now BAP Saturday, I only worked on it until I finished the bird and then moved on to my BAP for that day. So there's the bird done. This will be if it gets picked again, this will be another finish. And this is also done on that 14 count Arctic Blue Ada. I've probably forgotten to tell you what I'm doing all these other ones on. Some of them I remember and some of them I don't. And then on the 13th, that's when I got caught up on the Prickly Bit Cute. That's when I finished the cacti there. On the 14th, that's when my Frosted Pumpkin Sweet as Pie came back out. On the 15th, Birds to the Boughs came out. So this is a pattern done by Lindy Stitches. It's like a modern sampler. And there's a Sal going on, and there's a Facebook group for it called Birds to the Boughs Sal. Birds to the Boughs. Jesus, none of us can say that. We keep saying birds of the boughs, birds on the boughs, birds on the bough, bird on the bough, you know, so, but it's birds to the bough, Sal. And so I'm doing this on a piece of 20 count Ada. It's either Witchelt or Zweigart. It's called Purple Passion. I can't really get the color to come through. That's about as close as you're gonna get right there. It's kind of a mauve-y kind of color. Mauve. But it's like a purpley color with some gray undertones. So this is page 1 up here. On that day, I worked on this branch right here. Got all that done. I'm a little slower stitching on the 20 count just because the holes, I can see the holes just fine. I mean, I have glasses, but my eyesight's not that bad. But I am a little slower stitching. And this one I am substituting in colors where I can. Right now I've substituted a lot of color and cotton. So like this right here is color and cotton Kalamata. This up here is color and cotton Golden Ale. The greeny blue here is color and cotton Bermuda. And then I've also made the bird's crown a Chronic Gold. So, oh, and I think there's another color and cotton color in here. Like these little motifs here and the back of the bird's wing here, I think is color and cotton Blue Moon. And I think that's Kalamata there as well. It looks variegated. But yeah, so I'm substituting colors in where I can instead of the DMC. And then I extended the top border a little bit as well. So I really want this one to come back out again because I really love this piece. It is such a gorgeous piece. Okay, so that was the 12th. So on the, or no, that was not the 12th. That was the 15th. Okay, so on the 16th, my Fuzzy Fox Designs Pretty Little Produce came out. And this, okay, so actually the Pretty Little Produce came out on the 16th. And then it also came out on the 20th, and it got pulled again today, the 21st. So I managed to finally get the border done, which this is still in the Q-snap because, again, I'm working on it again. But I'm not going to take it out. But there's the whole border. It looks it's basically the same as the Prickly Bit Cute. And then I was able to finally get started on some of the fruits and veggies here. So we've got Betty Beetroot, Peter Pumpkin, Charlie Chili, Lenny Lime. Charlie Chili is the only one who's completed. Betty Beetroot and Peter Pumpkin are actually missing, like this leaf here needs to be finished and the stem needs to be put on Peter. But I'm missing my 3345. Or it's kitted up somewhere and I can't find it. But obviously I've got plenty more to work on because this started in January. It's now August, and I'm just now getting to the produce. So I've got plenty of time to find that color and get it done. But yeah, this got pulled again for today, so this will be day 3 of working on it. And I should be able to get Lenny done, and I should be able to get at least one more veggie done. I guess we'll see how long it takes to upload and edit and upload this video here. So day 17 brought about the Haunted Mansion stitch along again. So that's when I finished the room. Day 18 was a Saturday. And so that's when I finished up the bird on the Vicky Designs Birds and Blossoms. And then I moved to, what did I move to for my BAP Saturday? Might have been Birds to the Bows. I don't remember. But I moved to something for BAP Saturday, and I don't have a whole lot of, I guess, what you would consider BAPs. Birds to the Bows, I guess, is one. Tiny Modernist Haunted Mansion Sal is one. And I guess the Fuzzy Fox Designs Sals are BAPs, but I've created another wheel in my Tiny Decisions app for my BAP Saturday. So I've put like 3 or 4 in there. And when they come up, they come up. And then, let's see, day 19, that's when this last one came up here. This last different one came up. This is a freebie that was in the newsletter from Wee Little Stitches. This was in October of 2017, I believe. And it's called Boo. And this was another one that I started back in January. I got a couple rows done on this pumpkin here. This is done on 14 count spider web print Ada. It's printed. See, the back is plain white, and then the front is this like cream with the grayish blue spider webs on it. I got it from stitchedmodern.com. Again, everything I talk about will be linked below. And I got the pumpkins finished, got the exclamation point, got part of that O, and then so all I gotta do is do the rest of the word boo. So finish that O, do the B and the other O. And I think the letters are actually charted in white, but it's also, I think the model stitch was done on black Ada, and it, the white, I started in white and then it didn't show up very well. I didn't like it on the cream, so I switched over to black. So, and then like I said, now Pretty Little Produce has been picked for the 20th and now the 21st. So I'll be working on that after I get done here. And that's where we're caught up now. It's actually not as long as I was thinking it was going to be, considering all the whips. But I don't do plans. I mean, other than the rest of Arbitrary August. And then I know someone was talking about continuing with the, using the Tiny Decisions app or whatever number generator to do the whip thing. And I was thinking that I wanted to do that too anyway, because I do like this. I do like being told what to stitch on. Sometimes I get to points where like I look through all my whips and nothing sounds good, and then I don't stitch, or I waste time that I could be stitching. So I'll probably continue using it. I know that there were a couple of hashtags thrown out for like something September, or spinning September, or something like that. But I don't know if I'll throw a hashtag on it or not, or if I'll just stitch it. Just pick and stitch. Of course, all of my Arbitrary August stuff is on my Instagram as well. I created a highlight thing to show which day, what got picked on which day. And then, of course, I always make a post of what I've worked on as well. So if you're not following me over there, go ahead. Again, LinkIsMyHomeboy is the username on pretty much any platform. And I know that there's a few different sales coming up that I'm going to try and jump in on the 31st of August. If that's wrong, I'll put the date at the bottom here. Rita Marie from Rita Marie Stitching Adventure, that's her birthday, and she is doing a Mira start or continuing on a Mira. I don't have any Miras to start, but she also said if you don't have a Mira or don't want to do a Mira, then just stitch on something cute. I'll go find out what the hashtag is and put it across the bottom for you here. And I know that there's another one being hosted by Carrie and Stitches and Tess Stitches. They're doing the Lizzie Kate Coffee Time patterns on October 1st, which is National Coffee Day. I think it's Coffee Time Sal is the hashtag. If that's wrong, I'll put it at the bottom. And then on October 10th, we've got my birthday sal, which is LIMH birthday sal. We're doing the Primitive Hairs Black Pearl. You can get it in physical form, or you can also get it PDF. I went ahead and got the PDF. And I'm planning on doing a purple hair conversion, which I'm hoping to actually sit down, look at the pattern, and work on that this week. And possibly looking into ordering my fabric and the other, like the fancy flosses, because I think the actual fin calls for Confederate Gray by Weeks Dye Works, and that's wrong. Banker's Gray by Weeks Dye Works. And so I need to order that. I need to order my fabric, and I was thinking of actually ordering like a specific needle minder and a specific project bag, but I haven't seen anything that I like to go with it. But if you're not interested in that pattern and you want to join in, just stitch on something that's mermaid. Or if you don't like mermaids, then just stitch on something and join us. I don't care what you stitch on, just join us. And I think those are the only sals that are kind of in my radar that I'm wanting to join in. So that's, oh, okay, last thing. So my crafter feature. So if if you're old here, thank you for continuing to watch and like and comment, and thank you for subscribing. If you're old here, or if you're new here, thank you for watching. Please hit that subscribe button, like, comment. I try to respond to all comments. I think I've gotten all of them. I do appreciate all the views and likes and everything. So still haven't gotten thumbs down. Still waiting on that one, but I guess we'll see. But on my channel here, I do a crafter feature where I feature someone who's not in the world of cross stitching and kind of give them a shout out. So another thing that I'm kind of obsessed with, I guess, is polymer clay jewelry, or polymer clay really in general. I don't have the talent or artistic ability to do it, and plus clay is sticky, and I don't like sticky, so I can't do it. So I just have to admire from afar. But one of my favorite shops is K-Ray Creations. And she's on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. And she does little clay, she does lots of clay jewelry, and I have quite a few pieces of hers, actually. So there's a particular line that she does, which are the like teddy bear line, and I've got a few pieces of hers. So the first one I got was this little teddy bear, and he's dangling from a shooting star. And he's kind of a magenta color with like a iridescent kind of belly. So, and then it's a charm. So the second one I got was this little like Cupid bear. We've got little wings. Look at the detail in those. Can I get the detail there? What if I just hold my hand up? The detail on that is just amazing. And she puts like opalescent flakes in the clay, and these are like limited edition. So she makes so many of this colorway, and there's always a special pose for each one, and they're limited edition. They're not numbered or anything like that. It's not like they're collector's items per se, but she only does a limited run. She does, once they're sold out, they're sold out. But there's my most recent acquisition, was this little tangerine bear, and he's got, and the little footprints, the little paws kill me. And he's holding a little, it's like he's been plucked from the ocean, and he's holding onto a little starfish, and he's kind of like, who, me? What? And then she included, like each time, she's always included like a little freebie charm too. So I've got a couple little chocolate chip cookies and a little kawaii star. So I don't think you're gonna get the face on there very well. But yeah, so, but I love to wear the art. So, I love, like, she has like desk standees and stuff like that too, to where you could just put it on your craft desk and it could look at you. But I like to wear the art. So, I prefer to buy the jewelry. So, all right. I think that's it. Again, you can follow me on Instagram at LinkIsMyHomeboy. Thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. If you have any questions about where I've gotten things, what I've gotten, things like that, all that information should be linked below. If it's not, ask me. I'll be happy to share. And I guess I'll see you guys next time. Bye!